is recyclable or degradable. Doesn't eliminate the option, takes away of government forcing opinions down people's throats and costing them money at the checkout counter. I think there's a good alternative here. The entire province of British Columbia uses biodegradable bags in every instance. I don't think we need to just say ban plastic and switch to paper or fabric. I think there's another option. So what's the board want to do?
Public comment.
Okay, I'm getting there. Thank you. Members of the public, discussion. Please come forward, state your name for the record, and keep your comments 3 minutes, please.
Dennis Scholes, Redwood Valley. I have a few questions about this proposed ban, one of which I've been in Mendocino County 6 years, and the educational part of plastic bags I've been woefully unaware of. Didn't even know there was one right out that I could recycle right outside the door where I shop, but I have since learned that is there. I too support education. I do not like the idea of mandates in this area. Another one is it might be okay for the city of Santa Monica and San Francisco and Oakland to take on the large chains, but when somebody mentions lawsuits, I get a little nervous about Mendocino County getting into a lawsuit with these folks. My most compelling argument, though, is I'm a little bit questionable by a surcharge on paper bags. I too have struggled with the paper versus the plastic because I don't like to cut down trees, et cetera, and the oil and all that. But it disturbs me that we would be rewarding out of the pockets of the consumer the store, which is in business to provide a service, selling groceries or whatever. And the most compelling part about that is cost to seniors. We have seniors who are on fixed incomes. We even have seniors in this county, be no surprise to anyone, that still have to make tough decisions about food or medication. And now it's a hidden cost, I understand that, about plastic and et cetera, but you're going to take away the plastic bag and charge them for the paper bag. Okay, maybe, what, 2 cents, 4 cents? I don't know, per bag. But when I went to the store this last week, I got about 10 bags of groceries. And I don't think that is quite fair that we impose a surcharge on seniors that have to make difficult decisions in any case. And so I think that we really need to look at the alternatives. I like what Supervisor Wattenberger said about alternatives, and I would encourage you to look at those rather than to impose additional costs to folks like seniors. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you. Other comments from the public? Comment to the public. Please step forward, state your name, keep your comments 3 minutes.
Thank you, Board of Supervisors. My name is Cliff Pollen, Ukiah. I'd like to speak in support of the plastic ban usage. I think, as Mr. Sweeney rightly pointed out, it is a cost on every consumer who goes to the store right now to pay for the bags. And I hear the concerns of this gentleman about the impact on seniors, and I would say that the seniors are currently having an impact in their budget from having to subsidize the plastic and paper bag usage, and over the long run, they would be benefiting from using reusable bags. To speak to Kendall Smith's comment about local nonprofits. There are groups throughout the county. I spoke with George Reinhardt out on the coast yesterday, and there's a group out there that is looking for support throughout the county for creating reusable bags here in Mendocino County, and is looking for funding streams from grants to make them subsidizable for low-income people to use. I think enacting a ban on plastic bags actually does encourage people to use reusable bags over just simply switching to paper. And I don't know if Mr. Sweeney has those figures, but anecdotally, the number of people using reusable bags in San Francisco and Oakland has gone up tremendously as a result of the ban there. Plastic does use resources, and what we're trying to do here is not just to demonize plastic bags, but to increase public awareness about the impact of reusable bags as opposed to disposable bags. And a ban is an effective way to do so. And I would encourage you to take this step here today, Chairman Wattenberger, not at some point in the future. It's easy to say at some point in the future we'll solve this problem, but you have the opportunity in front of you now to address this problem that is an issue today and will continue to be an issue in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments from the public? Seeing none, bring it back to the board for action. Supervisor Smith. Who was first? Supervisor Colfax?
Well, having sat through some of these discussions at MSWA, I would support this. I think there are a number of concerns. I think education is part of it. I think the limited impact is something that concerns me to some extent. The question of compulsory versus voluntary, I think here that should be given some weight. And I also think that the idea that it may in fact impact certain categories of people, particularly seniors, is also a matter of concern. However, in the context of all of this, it takes a long time for the public to get the point that plastic utilizes very scarce resources. 30 years ago, that was a very radical statement to make, and it's taken almost that long for us to even get to the point of recognizing that we need to be demonizing perhaps plastic more often than we in fact do. But I would support this. I think the weight of it should be on MSWA to come up with a set of procedures that work, coming up with a set of considerations. But I think we need to weigh in with the municipalities of the county. And I believe, Mr. Sweeney, have we got all 5 other units out there who have weighed in on this?
We have 3 cities, but I would bet my last dollar that Point Arena would be in with us too.
I think Point Arena may have voted on that.
Of course, they don't have any stores that would.
Yeah, it's an easy one for them.
Yeah. Well, they have some stores. I meant to say larger stores that have so far been affected.
But I would suggest here that we show some leadership here and support this. And again, it's not as if we're laying something out in concrete and expecting people to accept it, but rather take it up as something that we are going to be adjusting and working with in a creative way over the next year, 2, 3.
Supervisor Smith, I believe you are next.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I would encourage board members to support this. I think that we need to at least get a draft ordinance back to us, possibly when this is being looked at. More than one model could be explored. Maybe there could be 2 options. And the comment on seniors that was raised, I don't know if people are aware, but since I've been doing this for a number of years, most places I shop, you get a rebate or a return of 2, 3, I've even seen it up to 5 cents per bag for every bag that you bring back and when you bring them back to the store. So in essence, really, you can get an inexpensive shopping bag paid for very quickly. And so I think over time, seniors actually would save money. And clearly the costs are like anything else. They're hidden in what we're already paying. I mean,